Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer and Maker Aidan.
Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. Tune in tonight. It's me, Lady Ada. With me is Mr. Lady Ada and Aidan, the maker, who has been showing off all sorts of goodies on our show and tell for many years now. And we've got an exciting show for you tonight. Next hour of maker news, new products, features, history, videos, badges, 3D printed stuff.
You have demos from a lot of your projects?
Lots of demos.
Yeah.
It's going to be a jam-packed hour, so stick around. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory here in Manhattan, where we have pulled Aidan from through the computer.
Yeah. My joke that I said on Show and Tell is if you're on Show and Tell enough times, you get like a little punch card, and then once it fills up, you get transported to the factory.
Yeah.
So the more you show your project, the more you get to meet people and do more cool stuff.
It's just like Persona 4.
Yeah.
Okay, we got an exciting show for you tonight. So what's on tonight's show, Mr. Lady Ada?
Tonight's code is STEM Steam. It's STEM Steam Day, I think. I couldn't really figure out what it was exactly, and it was a hashtag, so I'm just like, okay,
both.
STEM Steam. Can't please all the people all the time, but you can please some of the people some of the time. STEM Steam. 10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything except for AdaBox and gift certificates supports us, an open source hardware company. Here's some of us. We don't have any loans or venture capital. We're doing this on our own. No net. We're just doing this. When you buy something, it helps us. Okay. Show and Tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lady Ada will talk about some of those projects and more. Pack the mailbags and stop by. Read your letters to us. Time travel. Look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers, and more. And some current news. Main USA factory footage. And we have a special video that the New York City Gov film group did. We're going to play that tonight.
It's a great tour.
Yeah. Nimbus Friendly Cloud Entity is here. We're going to talk about some Adafruit I/O stuff. 3D printing, microbit news, Raspberry Pi news. We'll have new products. We'll answer your question. We're going to have a trivia question. All that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Woo! Yay. Okay. Yay. All right, so we're going to get to some new stuff, and then we're going to show some cool demos. So,
hang tight.
Yeah.
Hang tight using your little rubber gripper.
Yeah, literally hang tight with that.
Grip.
Yeah.
Grip tight.
You know, your Instagram videos are kind of the perfect Instagram videos because I see a lot of like technology companies or like maker companies or like they want some like cool video thing that gets lots of views, and you're actually making that stuff like little claw thing. It's like that's exactly the eye candy everyone wants on Instagram.
Because you just got to keep it short and concise. Nobody wants to spend a long time scrolling through their feed. So
yeah, and the loop's nice too.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, we have a couple of those videos we'll show later. All right, well, the code is STEM Steam, 10% off in the Adafruit store. Couple other notes. You're watching Ask an Engineer. It's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Show and Tell. We just did that every Wednesday, 7:30. If you're in New York City, same day delivery before 11 a.m. If you're one of the zip codes that is in parts of Manhattan, and check out before 11 a.m. You get it same day. It's that fast. We have the free deals.
Wow, so many free deals. It's amazing. $99 or more, you get a Perma Proto half-size breadboard. Make your projects permanent. With our Perma Proto, it's beautiful and easy to make permanent projects. Very handy. At $150 or more, you get a free Trinket M0. Wow, you can use CircuitPython with it or Arduino. It comes with CircuitPython, a great way to make a small project. It's a super powered version of our Trinket. $200 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping, continental US. $250 or more, you also get a Gemma M0. It is our little wearable that also runs CircuitPython or Arduino. We're going to have one of our demos uses it. It's just a wonderful way to make fast, powerful projects with the SAMD processor. And $300 or more, you get a Circuit Playground Express, jam-packed with all the LEDs and sensors you can shake a stick at or another CircuitPython board at. It's got Arduino, MakeCode, and CircuitPython support. It's a great learning platform. And of course, at every level, you get everything below that. And so if you order $300 or more, you get everything you see here. Wow, amazing. Crazy Lady Ada. How could you do such a thing? I'm giving away the store.
All right. Okay, we have some shipping things to talk about. We have DHL. We added that. We have all these places that we ship to: Canada, UK, Germany, France, Belgium, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. And we're adding more. We also have more options on checkout for UPS that gets you some of the things that DHL added, which is like prepaid custom fees in advance. So when you just get the package.
Nothing got
and-
UPS excited about adding that for us than having DHL have that for us.
Yeah, it turns out when you add another carrier, they really want to do stuff.
Suddenly they're like, oh, we have that too.
You can add that. And we also added more postal options for more states in the USA. So you got options. You got planes, trucks,
Other trucks.
water boats,
Water trucks,
hovercrafts,
air
what's going on.
trucks.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, we have our holiday dates coming up for shipments, and there's nothing worse than blaming us for ruining your holidays.
That's the worst.
That's the worst for us. So just make sure you're aware of the dates. There's international shipping deadlines. There's shipping deadlines in the U.S. Don't wait till the last second.
We want to make sure that you
Yeah.
and all of your gift giving and getting friends are so happy. So we do ship very fast, but there's always weather because the earth is dying, or strikes.
It's true.
Or your Airbus truck might fall out of the sky. There's all sorts of things that can happen. So
Yeah.
don't wait till the last moment.
Yeah, the things will pretty much
Give
happen
yourself
on
a
the
couple
worst
extra
day
days.
possible. So yeah.
And you never know that your package once in a while there's like the package was like destroyed somehow.
Yeah.
So you want to, we'll get you a new one, but we can't do that negative time. We
Yeah.
need positive time. So that's why we always ask, give us a couple extra days.
Okay. Why don't you talk about the show and tell,
I'd love
Lady
to.
Ada?
I
I'm gonna
wrote
do
all
some
these
stuff
notes.
over here. Okay.
So we had some Adafruit folks. JP did a stream today because there's a conflict tomorrow with the scheduling. So check out this, his live stream today on Jump Park's Workshop. He made a control box for an Arduboy, a little fun project to make his Arduboy more useful. And it's also a great accessibility hacking project. And then this week's project was a Drinkybot, a drink cooling robot using a Peltier cooler. Fun project with all sorts of neat tricks and techniques that he learned written in CircuitPython using a Trinket M0. Noah and Pedro made Boomy, which is a share play. It's like an AirPlay speaker that's battery powered, uses a Raspberry Pi Zero W and our speaker Bonnet. Great little portable speaker that you can play from your phone or tablet or computer and just shows up like as an AirPlay device, so it's kind of neat. Chris Young has learned Fusion 360, finally. It's never too late to learn Fusion 360, making all sorts of cool switches and holders and wheelchair add-ons. There's like totally pimp your wheelchair. Should like made like 3 or 4 different brackets for his wheelchair to improve.
I like Chris's project because when we talk to people who have accessibility requests and features, they can't go to the manufacturer or the FDA. I think you even mentioned this in some of your work, where it's like a lot of these things, there's just not enough people to make custom stuff.
Yeah.
And like these grippers and a lot of things that even you're working on, it's like they're so useful for like one person. And that's one of the neat things, like watching Chris put all this stuff together. One of the things he said was kind of funny. He's like, I hope I never need this because I needed this in the hospital. So it's kind of cool that it's possible for people to make their own things that work for them, fit their needs.
No, this is why it's so cool that we
Yeah.
have a community of people. Coding Pro is making some real life Minecraft blocks with cardboard and redstone colored shaped and with LEDs to make sort of like an interactive magnet board. So
That's
they'll
cool.
be coming back soon to show more. Sophie showed off her robot has now a bigger battery. Radomir demoed off the MicroPython, CircuitPython little gaming station. So it's like it's kind of like an Arduboy's little handheld gaming platform, but it runs Python, which is really neat, and was doing some sprite tests. So it's kind of interesting to see, like writing a game in CircuitPython. I think it's funny. John Park was actually saying while they were while he was hacking on the Arduboy, how cool it would be to have a CircuitPython version, and we're like, we would love to. We'll get there. Dave Estels is a member of the CircuitPython community. He's been doing a lot of hacking and showed off a temperature and humidity storage jar that uses a Trinket M0 in CircuitPython and a timer to give him piezo feedback if the jar is too humid or not humid enough. So I guess, depending on like medications or like you have like artifacts or maybe like biological samples, you want to keep the humidity at a certain level. So this jar will actually auto check its own humidity and tell you if it needs to get more of these humidity packets. That's kind of neat. It's good. Like we've been talking a lot about agricultural projects. It's a good.
I'll be talking about 4-H tonight.
Yeah. Jeremy G. So Dave also it's first time showing off, and then Jeremy also his first time. He's been making a lot of gadgets for his daughter, and he's working on this project called MakerNet, which is an I2C bus that does like management of and packet management, network management, so he can like send and receive data. It's kind of neat, so you can like plug and play pieces. It's kind of interesting to see between like Stemma and Seesaw and Grove and Quick, all these different. Everyone's kind of zeroing in on I2C is the underlying protocol that we all hate, but we don't know having anything better at this time to use. And then Adam had some really cool chip tunes. The new scanner microscope looks really good. Got the grid eye. It was zooming into this 8x8 grid eye and zooming in, zooming out. And then there was like LEDs, and it was just like a party in his garage.
Okay.
So come to his garage for the party.
All participants on the show and tell get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker.
It's
And
small.
if you do a bunch of projects and you publish them a bunch, you get invited to the Adafruit factory, just like Aidan did. Okay. This is part of our Adafruit live series. I have a request, everybody. We broadcast to Periscope, and Periscope is like, hey, guess what? If you have 186,000 more hearts, you get to be the person who has that or something. So I actually don't know what it does.
At least they're honest now.
They're just like you get to, but you log in. It's like you need 186,000 more hearts. So we have
So
we have
can you just-
264.
Can you press some hearts?
You can't. I can't. I think it has to
I'm
be
saying
different people.
the community.
Yeah, so press hearts because
Please
I'm looking
press
at
the
this thing.
hearts.
Yeah, it's like you must. I need to be a U.S. resident. Got it. Active Periscope account. Minimum of it 185,000 stars and 5 broadcasts over the last 30 days. Yeah, I did that.
We did that.
Average of 50 viewers. I got
Easily,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you're in Periscope right now, make a bunch of hearts.
Yeah, please just.
Yeah, look at that.
Jam out the hearts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then we're going to be in that elite group of people with 185,000 hearts.
And we're going to be that person.
And then they'll move to goalposts and then
and then they'll just say you need 500,000 hearts.
Yeah.
But thank you for the hearts.
But I don't know why I want it. I just know I don't have it. Okay.
Appreciate it.
We're
Thank
all
you.
in Adafruit.at Discord. That's our Discord chat. This is a cool place where everyone gets together and is friendly and they help each other with projects. Super cool. And that's where all the questions at the end of the show and during the show are, and after the show. It's been called the 24/7 365 hackerspace you can bring your granddaughter to. That was from my grandmother or grandfather. Okay, JP has some videos. He had a live broadcast this week, so we have 2 clips from both of those, so we're going to play them now.
Clip time. Park's funny.
And next up, this is from today's live broadcast. This is a little mini arcade. Okay. I had a couple more requests.
Okay.
Tonight's filler request.
Hey, community people.
Yeah. So for the folks who have a Circuit Playground Express, please go to makecode.adafruit.com, plug it in, and try it out. It's really cool. Educators are using it within 5 minutes. You plug it in, do any type of project, nothing to download. It just plugs in. You have a simulator in there.
Does it work? Great. Does it not work? Open up an issue.
It works. Use it 186,000 times, and I get a superstar for my
No.
collection of no. I don't know.
Different.
That's
but
Periscope.
please do try it out. We're trying to get more people to use MakeCode.
Yeah.
And experiment with it and make sure that it's ready and working. And we want to unleash it onto the wild world of young makers and beginners.
Yeah,
What are we talking about?
teachers like it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about other stuff later. Okay. Mailbag. So we read these every single week in our all-weekly meeting called State of the Fruit. We're going to read tonight's. It's from Craig. Can I just say Adafruit rocks? I think the accessibility you and your products have provided to electronic engineering is amazing. It's made me break out the soldering iron after many years, and I hope that my 2 daughters will be similarly inspired. I built the kaleidoscope goggles for my 8-year-old daughter for Guy Fawkes night and Halloween, and she loved them.
Oh, neat.
That's cool. Okay, if you want to call us up and leave a message, you can. It's on Bitstab. That
This is
phone
our
will
phone.
ring later. But if the phone rings and we don't answer, it's because we don't really want to talk to anybody. You can leave a message. So that's the phone number. But it'll be open at the end of the show. Okay. Our guest. It's you.
Finally, thank you for being so
Hello.
patient.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
People may know you for a few things. One, I think you're one of the most prolific 3D experimenters out there.
I guess that's
Yeah.
a pretty
You're definitely
apt description of
pushing the
You've got
limit of 3D
you have
printing.
a cool Thingiverse page where the things that you show on video, people can go and build them and download. Have you seen people start to do that?
Yeah, so I love to publish all my projects open source. So, for example, this project right here is a 3D printed bouncy ball I made out of NinjaFlex filament, and I used an interesting lattice structure to increase the bounciness of it.
Put it under. Put it. No,
Oh, yeah.
it's already there.
The
Oh, that's cool.
little overhead. So that's the kind of lattice
That looks so
pattern
cool.
that we have. Yeah, it's super kind of trippy and fun to look at. And compared to normal infill patterns for 3D prints, it creates a sphere that bounces better. And so this is a project that I've had a few people replicate, and I've even had some people reach out like, hey, I want to scale this up. I want to make a soccer ball like this. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And like that's just kind of the goal with what I do, is to inspire other people and get them thinking about what interesting stuff they can do with 3D printing, and hopefully replicate it for themselves.
And you have a YouTube channel.
I do. It's called XYZ Aidan. You can just go to youtube.com/XYZ Aidan and find it. I do videos every so often on all sorts of topics, usually related to 3D printing or robotics or electronics, but all sorts of stuff, really whatever I'm interested
And
in.
you're also on Instagram, and these are my favorite. We follow you on Instagram.
Bang.
So this is one of your latest ones, and we'll do the demos later. But
Yeah.
but what is this before we?
What is going on here?
Yeah.
So I've been playing around with the concept recently of printed robotics, and it started with this little gripper I have here, which basically the entire mechanism of this robot is 3D printed in one step. And so it's really simple to make, and it's also flexible and cool and fun to watch and fun to grip stuff with. And I wanted to take that a step further and see what other kind of robots I could make with it. So for this night, I worked hard and I built this guy, which is a little crawling robot that works off of the same principle.
So
And you can see a little video of it there.
yeah, we have a. It's from one of your latest. It's about 3 minutes 33 seconds. So why don't we go to the clip? I think it's when you
yeah.
made the other one.
Yeah, so we have a YouTube video of the making of this little gripper.
That's cool. All right, take it away, you.
Past you.
Past you.
Hey guys, what's good? So one of the first real videos I made on this channel was a simple 3D printed robotic gripper that used cables to actuate and grab things. The project I have today is in many ways a spiritual successor to that one. This is what I call the print-in-place gripper. It's mostly 3D printed, yet all as one piece. As a result, it's incredibly easy to build, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Fabricating the gripper starts with printing. It relies on live hinges in order to move, so the one part must be printed all in a flexible material such as Willowflex, Semiflex, or NinjaFlex. You'll also probably want to print it on a glass bed or other very clean print surface, as there are a lot of live hinges and the first layer must be perfect. Once printed, just take it off the print bed and it is ready to have the other components installed. First, fit a metal geared micro servo motor into the back of the gripper. Then, attach a circular servo horn onto it. Twist the motor to its 0 position and make sure that there's a hole that lines up with each arm of the gripper on the horn. Tighten it down with the screw that came with your servo. Now onto the cables. Take some thin nylon string or fishing line and thread it through the center of one arm from the outside to the center. Once it has reached the hub, thread it through the corresponding hole on the servo horn from underneath. Pull it through and cut the line so there's about 4 inches of it on each end. Screw in an 8mm M3 screw into one end of the arm and use a small Phillips screw to secure the string onto the horn. Repeat this for all 4 arms. After this, it's basically done. As you can see, it's remarkably easy to build and doesn't take long to make. To operate it, you can connect it up to an Arduino and use the sample code in the Instructables guide to turn the motor, reel in the cables, and get the gripper moving. So I hope you walk away from this video with some inspiration as to how robotics can be simplified and made quite elegantly. If you want to build one of these for yourself, I suggest you take a look at the Instructables guide and Thingiverse page for the gripper that I have linked in the description. If you like this video, then you should know what to do, and if you want to follow my work into the future, then subscribe. I'll catch you later. XYZ Aidan, out.
Okay, so time for some live demos. Let's go to the overhead and let's show this stuff off.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Hold on.
This is a smaller thing.
Just
All
a
right.
lot of things.
Cool. So this right here is the actual printed part that, as you saw in the video, is the entire mechanism of the little gripper. Prints as one piece. This is made in a filament called Willowflex. It's made by a German company, but I've also found NinjaFlex to work really well, and I'm looking forward to testing it with some other flexible filaments in the near future. But here is the finished robot, and let me just power it up.
Whoa!
There we go. Got it gripping. So as you probably also saw in the video, it works by using a little servo that's in the center to basically rotate a servo horn that acts like a pulley and reels in these nylon lines that go through each of the fingers. And so as it reels them in, it causes these living hinges that go down the length of each finger to fold up on themselves and to reel inwards. So let me try and pick up this little...
Do it. Grab it. Ooh,
There we go.
That's pretty good gripping.
Yeah.
What I think is interesting is that, you know, the servo is only twisting, what, like 90, maybe 120 degrees.
Yeah.
And it's not very far. It's maybe 1 inch of distance, but it's like, because it's using these tendons, it has a much bigger effect.
Exactly.
I don't know anything about mechanical engineering, so this is as detailed as I can get.
Yeah, I go into more about that with this new robot, the crawler, which I will activate in a minute or so, where I have these actually, instead of just using the servo horns that come with the servo motor, I 3D printed these pulleys, and so these have a larger diameter, and so they need to move even less to reel in these entire
So you can
fingers.
see that this is actually a pulley. It's got like a hourglass shape.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to see into it.
Is this also a micro servo? Are these both
Yeah,
micro?
so
Oh, wow.
both of these use the MG90S micro servos, which you sell in the store.
They're like Metal Gear. They're high torque.
Yeah, they're really good, and they're my kind of go-to for small servos for making little robots and such.
And how much can you pick up? Like weight? How much weight do you
Yeah,
think?
so-
If it can mechanically grip it, how much can it pick up?
I'm not really sure offhand, and it's kind of hard to measure with compliant grippers, and that's a large focus of a lot of my research and making is compliant materials. So like this is Ninja Flex, and this is a flexible filament as well. And when you make a gripper out of it, it's a flexible gripper. And so if I power this on again, I can demonstrate that it has some compliance and give to it, and can easily kind of morph to an object as opposed to hard robots, which just kind of very precisely pick up something.
Yeah, I thought like your video was you're picking up this kind of spongy mesh, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of grippers that
So, like,
if they don't
if
have
I put my hand in this, I can still kind of bend this finger backwards, but it'll kind of adapt to whatever it's trying to grip.
Yeah, like a lot of like old style robotic grippers, like they were like they were just like action grip. It was just like a thing that
Yeah.
just pinched, and it was only good for picking up flat or rectangular things. It's like
Yeah.
if your thing's rectangular, got you covered.
And
Anything else
for humans,
doesn't work.
It's tough. And I posted this old video when I worked with Sony on the Curio, which is a little humanoid robot. And one of the features of it was, well, when the arms go down, if a human hand is in there, there's a sensor, and it won't crush the hand as much,
Right.
or maybe at all. But I like this approach. Well, there wasn't 3D printing and flexible materials. This
Yeah.
is neat because it's like, well, it's never really gonna crush stuff. So like food handling, people handling, all that is possible. Where the previous generations of robotic arms were just like, well, just make sure it doesn't crush the thing too much.
Yeah, and I mean, I often get a lot of feedback of like where would compliant grippers be useful, and of course like there are definitely some scenarios and applications where hard robots are definitely the way to go. But like
Fighting other robots, I think.
fighting other
Yeah,
robots.
but like you see those you see the robots all the time, like the Festo type videos where it's like they're
Yeah.
picking up fruit and like inspecting it, or they like they pick up a clam and they put the clams down on like the conveyor belt or like pancakes. So that's where you would. I mean, I feel like it's always been like clams or pancakes for me. So I think like this would be really good because each clam is slightly different shaped.
Yeah.
Right, and each fruit, you don't want to bruise the fruit, but you really want to grab it.
Like gentle robots for an imperfect world. I mean,
Exactly.
They adapt. They
picking up
adapt based on the
babies
thing,
for no, just kidding.
Yeah, but like medical and food handling are the applications where compliant grippers are really seeing their use. There's a company called Soft Robotics Incorporated that's really focusing on the food handling, and they have these, if you look them up, they have these really cool pneumatic grippers that are really good at like picking up apples and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it solves a little bit of issue because, like, I know that, like, I've seen hard grippers and they have a feedback system, but it's like the feedback system can fail.
Yeah.
And second, like, it has to be very fast. Whereas with this, it's like, well, you just don't need a feedback system. Like, the feedback is built in mechanically,
Right.
which is, I think, smarter.
Yeah.
You're way
and
smarter than them.
I like to think so. But what's on a similar note to that is that the natural compliance of these grippers and these robots give them a added benefit of simplicity where you don't need a feedback system and you don't need sensors to make sure you're not crushing an object, where you're relying on an inherent physical property to kind of have that function.
So why do you like the soft robotics? Like, why not build these out of, like, hard plastic?
Yeah.
Why not sharp claws?
Yeah, why don't you build the
with,
kitchen crushers?
with rusty nails on the end?
Exactly.
Why not?
Yeah, why do you like it?
So I really like the whole field of compliant and soft robotics, mainly because it's new.
Yeah.
It's a field that is relatively young, and there's not a lot of research going on about it in the university space, and there's even less research going into it in the maker world, which is what I really like to promote. And I make all of these open source projects so people can follow them and learn about compliant robotics. I even had a teacher from across the country reach out to me one time and said, like, hey, I had some students in my tech class build one of your projects.
That's
and
cool.
I was like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's like basically the end goal of my projects.
Also,
is
like
to educate people.
the idea of robotics in the past was the robots have to be perfect, and this you get a little bit of wiggle room. Like, okay, the print didn't come out perfect, and like the design and the idea is smart enough, almost like nature, where it's like, like frog hands don't always are they hands? Are frog hands? Where's the frog hand go? Anyways, not a paw.
Is
But
that
anyway,
a paw?
Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
when frogs pick up stuff, those cute photos, like
Yeah.
and they give high fives.
stretchy thing.
Those aren't perfect. Where there's like and sometimes they're missing a thumb or no. I do not know frog anatomy. That is clear. Everyone,
Yeah.
I'll look it on Wikipedia. But what's neat is like Mother Nature kind of works around the imperfections, and this reminds me of that. Like it still kind of works even when things aren't perfect.
Yeah, the compliancy just gives you some softness.
Yeah.
In both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
All right, you got any other demos?
Yeah, so
All right, what else you got?
I will set up the crawler demo. It's a bit slow. I finished it very recently, but if you'll give me a second to
Yeah, this is gonna be a live crawler
my
demo.
fix this mess of wires and
Here.
I'm sorry, microphone.
Yeah, I'll move this out of the way for you.
I will get it set up, and it's also controlled from my phone because I have a Feather Bluefruit 32U4
That's good use.
at the heart of it, and so I can use the Bluefruit Connect app to
Now,
control it.
While you're setting that up, one of the things that I want to share with the community about my view of Aidan's work, because this is my show, is what I really like is that I've seen your work slowly progress. Like, you didn't start out as an expert on pliant and soft robotics. Like, when you were first doing stuff, you're like, well, I just made like a square. You know, you're like, I just made a square, and then you're like,
I made a circle. Now the circle bounces really cool.
Now I have like a slightly more complicated, like a 2-chamber square, and like you were starting to do pneumatics. Like
Yeah.
every week you were just making a little bit of progress, and I think some people are like, whoa, how'd you become an expert? And it's like, slowly.
Yeah, I've been doing show and tell for like 3 years almost
Yeah,
now.
and you've just been like relentless.
Yeah.
Like you never shut up and was like, I'm doing bowling.
Well,
It's always
I
like
that you
soft
can look,
robotics.
You can look back on it, and it's just like you can see progress, and none of us are afraid to make mistakes. Oh,
right.
this is cool.
Okay.
So this guy just kind of fidgeted a bit. That was because the crawler was just connecting to my phone. I have the Bluefruit LE Connect app right here. I can go to the controller. I can go to the control pad, and if I press the forward button,
Oh yeah, look at this.
Oh yeah.
he starts to crawl. I think he's going this way, so I'll move him a bit over this way. So it moves very slowly, and it's largely dependent on the surface it's on. I need one of the improvements I'm going to make to this is add some little grippy pads on the feet, so it can
Yeah.
walk. All right, it finished that sequence, and then I can press the other button to make it move in the other
Yeah.
direction. Oh, there we go.
Focus,
Cool.
yeah.
So now, I think he's trying to crawl that way.
Yeah, no,
You
the
can,
slow.
you can slowly see him moving. That's why in that earlier video, I made a
Yeah.
time lapse of it because
Ooh, pelican.
it's slow, but he's making progress. The
yeah.
back of his legs have moved off the screen, off the edge of the screen.
Yeah.
So
Nice
there
work,
you go.
little. Nice
And
work,
so
little crawler bot.
If I turn him over, you can see the movement of the legs a bit better.
This is like an arthropod or something.
Yeah.
So,
if you're in
yeah.
the desert and you see one of these turned over, what do? I guess you just turn it back over.
Yeah, reconnect to it. But yeah, as you can see, there's 2 pairs of legs, the front pair and the back pair, and each is controlled by one of those metal geared micro servos with a little 3D printed pulley. And I have nylon monofilament running down each of the fingers. And yeah, this just seemed like the next natural step after I made the gripper robot.
Yeah.
As where to go with it. It's also one of my first electric mobile robots. Like I had made a pneumatic crawling robot that.
Oh yeah. Do
worked.
you want to show your pneumatic one next?
Yeah. So I have a pneumatic robot with me too. It mostly shows, or it's less of a robot than a pneumatic actuator, but I'll get the crawly guy off the screen and move this guy in. So another leading part of the world of soft robotics and compliant robotics right now is working with pneumatics and pneumatic structures. And so I've done a lot of investigation into that. That's what I really started out doing when I started making soft robots, and that's the majority of what I've shown off on show and tell in the past. So here I have a little box that I call the Aero Box. It's basically a pneumatic power supply where I have a little pump and a solenoid valve in there controlled by a trinket. And I have a little battery too, and I have a switch where I can turn it on, and it will cycle inflating this air bladder, which I will talk about how I made in a bit.
Cool.
So you can see it kind of inflating into this sphere.
And what's
from
interesting
this
is how,
flat.
how strong pneumatics are and how fast.
Lots of
Yeah.
cars with that.
No, I mean it's strong.
Yeah, I was very surprised by I'll open this up in a minute, but the pump that I'm using in it is remarkably powerful for its size, and I found it on like Alibaba, as you do most interesting electronic components.
I'm sure it's like used for like some
Yeah.
aquarium,
Everything. It's used for
aquarium
everything,
filter
yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and so this is just an example of a pneumatic actuator. You can like string these together and make a kind of bending finger, as I've shown off before. But this is just kind of a simple example of inflatable soft robotics. So let me
And that noise
tell
is
you.
actually what I sound like when I'm happy. No, it's that's the sound of the air getting pushed into
Yeah,
that.
so that's the pump.
Yeah,
the
pumps are a
sound of
little
the pump.
loud.
Yeah, so
Like servos make a whir sound, and these make a whir sound.
Yeah. So this 3D printed case I made just snaps together with magnets, and I have a little board in here with a trinket, a dual H bridge, and this is the solenoid valve, and this is the air pump.
Wow, that is really
The
small.
source of the pressure. Yeah, both these components are very small. Both work at 5 volts. And so I just have that attached to a 9-volt battery that's down there, and I have a buck converter. And yeah, it's very simple. I have a tutorial and a video for this up. If you search like XYZ Aidan Aerobox, you'll easily find it. But yeah, this is just a fun project that helps you get started with
This is like the hello world of pneumatics.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well,
Hello, air.
Do you want to do more show stuff?
Yeah, let's keep
Okay,
doing
we're
show
gonna do
stuff.
some show stuff, and then we're gonna do some new products. But stick around. And
You're still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah.
And we'll.
Thank you for those demos.
Yeah, there'll probably
No
be some
problem.
questions at the end too. So
Yeah.
keep
Happy
the
to
hand
answer.
powered up, warmed up. I don't know.
We're gonna do some more stuff, and then people who have questions, hold on to your
Yeah, hold on to
questions.
the end.
If you got pneumatic questions.
Okay. All right, Lady Ada, we got more stuff going on here. Time travel. Look back to world makers, hackers, artists, engineers. This week we have some Adafruit news. This is cool.
Yeah, this is our
Yeah,
mother room.
I'm going to show some photos. So one of the things that's important to us is no matter what happens with government stuff or state stuff with what you're allowed to get away with, like giving employees things or benefits, because it changes every day. Every time I hit refresh on CNN, I think it's hey, oh, no, it's like that.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
So what we decided to do is we've done commuter benefits for employees before it was even talked about. Paid family leave, because you want people to stick around and maybe have great families, and maybe Adafruit can be part of that. And then more recently, we added paid time off for charity, and much like how you share open source stuff about files and hands and printing and everything, we try to do that with stuff we do at the company. So people contact us, they're like, cool, paid time off for charity is a neat thing. So anyone in the company can volunteer for anything they want, and they get paid for it. So this week we're debuting our mother's room. So moms who are coming back to Adafruit, we have a mother's room. And this is something you hear about maybe in like super fancy in San Francisco, but it turns out you can do that. So here's some of the things, Lydia, you had approved these things. So what's
Yes, I approved them.
what's in the mother's room?
Okay, so it's a private and secure space. So there's a door, and it's lockable, so you can lock the door when you're inside. And there's a private refrigerator and a sink for cleaning out stuff and storing it. There's beverages and snacks. We have beverages and snacks in general, but there's also a selection just for the mother's room, so they don't have to walk out. It's already inside. There's storage for mother's personal belongings and equipment, and miscellaneous supplies and accessories provided by Adafruit that we chatted with all of our team members and said, what would you think would be useful for mothers in this room? And they said, this is what we would think is useful or required, and we supplied it with those things.
Yeah. So that's it. That's we're going to do a blog post about this, but we're pretty proud of that. We're going to continue to be excellent to each other, and I think folks see that in the products. If you're a cool company that takes good care of your employees, it kind of comes out into the products. So we got that going on. So that's some of our time travel news. The other time travel news, I've been writing a little bit, and on the Adafruit blog, I talked about my story as a kid. So there wasn't the internet around. But we had computers, we had some other stuff. But I was part of something called 4-H. And 4-H, I raised Holland Lops. These are ridiculous-looking animals. And Holland Lops are
This
these...
would be a good thing to pick up with those pneumatic rippers.
You know what? You know what? You could, and because they're
soft.
They're fluffy. They just chill out, and you raise them not to eat them. You raise them to pretty much make more of these. But you go to an event, sometimes it's a county fair, and you talk about the rabbit, and you display the rabbit. You do all these things. You have to take care of it, and you learn a lot of things. And I had to construct enclosures. I also had silky chickens, also ridiculous-looking animals. You have to keep in mind, when I was younger, Gremlins had just came out. And this was the closest I can get to Mogwais. And
These are ridiculous animals.
These are silky chickens, and then the silky chickens, they're not fighter chickens. And if there's other chickens, they get bullied, and they don't even really lay eggs. They'll take care of other chickens' eggs. And you have to, once again, you have to be like a living Wikipedia of what this chicken is while you're showing it to the judge. And you get like a chicken certificate and stuff like that. Now, there's also astronomy club. There was rocketry. I did computers. There was days in my life where, and this was in Florida, I would be in, it's called Reach class. And I would be working on a radio, or I would be recording my program to a cassette tape, because that's what we had to do back in the day. I could walk outside and watch the shuttle go off. And then later on that day, I was taking care of a rabbit or a horse or something. Kind of neat. It was one of the things that like kind of kept me alive, because like home wasn't great, but the activities were. So I would go and be part of all these clubs. So that was neat. So 4-H, if you look really close with 4-H now, they do coding events. They have something called Skynet Scholars or Junior Scholars, and it's about astronomy. So it's one of the cool groups that you don't necessarily see in the news a lot, but there's 6 million kids who do it. So we're going to try to talk to 4-H and do some things. So that's I also wanted to show Holland Lops and Silkies. Okay,
That's cool.
so that's some of the time travel. Next up, because we were asked about this a bunch, we featured Naomi on our show a bunch of times. This is Naomi in Shenzhen. She made this cool. It was
It's a
like
hacker laptop.
And if you go on our website, we've been writing about Naomi's work for probably
It's been over
a
and a
year.
half.
Over a year. And sometimes people don't understand her work, or it's 3D printing. It's really cool stuff. She's in Shenzhen, which is like maker capital of the world. You can get anything, all the stuff that you got from Alibaba. It's right there. I think on her Patreon, we're a Patreon Patriot. I don't know. Patriarch. It says, I'm from the place where you probably got your phone made, or you did get your phone made. I might even know the girl who made it. And it's like, wow, like this is intense. She's been on Hack Chats and more. And
She also did videos for us. We did the Tegaderm, like wearable hacking videos.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So we've published work, and that's kind of our theme. There was a recent controversy on Twitter, which happens like every other second now with more characters. And I think one of the things, because you always kind of inspire everyone, like just publish.
The work speaks for itself.
Yeah, and we do this series. This is just a screenshot from her blog, and we have this series, and it's called "We Are What We Celebrate." So we go to Barnes and Noble, which is still in existence, and we take photos of all the magazines that are there. And I think what's on the cover of magazines for some societies, like the U.S. in particular, kind of says, "Who are you celebrating?" When you were on the cover of Wired, it was Snooki from the Jersey Shore. So Snooki and Lady Ada. So you want Snookies?
Okay,
Put Snookies on the cover.
But I'm saying I lasted longer than Snooki. Where's Snooki now?
I don't know. Probably not doing a live electronic show.
She does not have her
Yeah.
own factory.
So the latest stuff that came up, and we're still trying to keep up with the news, was involving Make. And these are some covers of Make. Remote control everything. Some guy who made some gadgets or something. And I think that one of the things that might help solve some of the issues when people are like, well, that person's fake, or that person's not real, or they must have help. Because I help you at Adafruit, and most of the time I'm helping you with like really crummy emails that people send.
Yeah.
So people don't think you're real. We've gotten those. People have made like hate sites about you. People have had...
There have been multiple comments on very popular websites in the last few months about how I don't do any engineering.
Yeah, we do Desk of Lady Ada, where you actually design a circuit board from start to finish.
I should tell you something funny. So every time somebody visits Adafruit, except for you, like you're the only person who hasn't done this, every other person who's ever visited has always at some point said, "Oh well, like, do you really do the engineering?"
After the whole tour, after she shows
After
everything.
everything, they're like, "Wow, well, do
Yeah.
you do the engineering or like what?" I mean, it's always come up, and it's always like, do you ask that of other people, or is
No.
it just like me?
No, and then you'll go back to your desk. They're like, oh, like, does she really do this? I'm like, yeah. And so I think
Like I'm like live there, like doing CAD.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Do you really do it?" And I'm like, "What do you like? I've been faking it."
so I think one of the things that the maker community, if we are a community, has to get over is this, like, the whole point of us being here. It's the work, and it's the projects, and it's publishing. Naomi did the first OSHWA certified hardware in China. It's like CN0001.
Yeah, it's cool to have number one.
Yeah, our stuff is for the US is like
400 or
76 or
something.
something. So I have to catch up with some emails. You have to catch up with some emails. But we had some ideas. And the ideas are, when in doubt, don't tweet. But the other thing is, if you celebrate people's work, if it's focused on the projects and the sharing of files, that's where you can go. So I was showing these make covers, and I have a hobby, and my hobby is kind of weird. So when we go to those bookstores and we see all the different covers of magazines, and most of it's Mark Zuckerberg, we always think, well, what would be cool? So here's make covers of the past. Here's ones that I make covers. That's my hobby. I have a little template, and I make covers. And this one is a Nook, and she does really cool 3D printing stuff. You probably know about a Nook. Yeah. And a Nook was almost on the cover once.
This is non-compliant robotics.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Yeah, and
Spiky.
these are just ideas. And Nook was almost on the cover once, and I got in a little bit of a skirmish with May, because I said, hey, like, you said she's going to be on the cover, and then you just put a 3D printer on the cover, and they're like, well, that tested well. I'm just like, like, so anyways, that was my dream cover.
I understand. This is the coolest cover.
Okay, next up,
Anyways.
Helen, iRobot and Sci-Fi Works,
Yeah, she's awesome.
right? That's my idea. Okay, I in Little Bits. She has the new very timely Star Wars.
Big
Everybody likes Star Wars.
Top gift for the holidays.
Yeah.
It's on like 50,000 gift guides.
Yeah.
This like really awesome R2D2 robot
Yeah.
that kids can code themselves.
Okay, so I hired Becky to work with me at Make. Becky was here at Adafruit. Now she's in Instructables, and I was kind of spinning out, and I'm just like, why isn't there a wearables cover with Leia, who did LilyPad, Becky, and you? So we did a photo shoot, and I was gonna print out these and put it on the cover of Make in the stores. I was gonna, what is it like called, drop lift? You're
Yeah.
not shoplifting. So anyways, this is the unreal. This never saw the light of day. Eventually, Make put you on the cover not too long ago.
Yeah.
That was a surprise to us. But this is a way, I think, that we can signal to the community, hey, when you share your work, when you publish, you do stuff. Cosplay.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah, this is
Kamui.
Kamui. We have her. We're going to be stocking the book.
Yeah,
And
she's
we
got
also-
a book, but
yeah.
also we're starting to see more and more cosplayers adding LEDs.
I'd buy that on the stands. It's 3D printing. It
That's
lights
pretty
up
cool.
stuff. Yeah. Okay. Next up. All right. This was one I sent Thanksgiving of last year to Make. And I said,
Yeah.
hey, like, you should, like, hey, Naomi has some cool stuff. This would be kind of neat.
No, it's cool. It's like we're
Yeah.
finally at just Chibi City, like cyberpunk future.
Yeah. This one is Kip Bradford. He makes these things that chill things that are cool.
He's really into pneumatics.
And he's really into making low cost refrigeration.
conditioning,
That was cool.
refrigeration.
Okay. Okay, I couldn't resist. So this is two cosplay ones because Wonder Woman came out, and this is also the same cosplayer.
Yeah.
But it's all like the book that she makes has like NeoPixel, has 3D printing. Everyone wants to dress up like this. I do. Star Simpson. Star was on, I think, the Make 50 in. It was Caleb and her. So that's an
Okay,
idea.
but this reason why she was on there was after you said you can't just put circuit boards on covers anymore.
I thought it might be neat to have the makers because it's about, like, hey, this is what they make, this is them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my other idea. This was from a SparkFun ad a long time ago. I just stole the photo, put it on there. Inventor LilyPad.
yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. And then
Not just craft,
And then
make.
more recently, assistive technology. What type of signal would that send to the accessibility community? Hey, Make is the place where all this stuff is happening. So like Bill's work that he does with atmakers.org, Chris Young, that Ella
Caleb
story.
Craft.
Caleb, all
The Enable Project.
the Enable
Yeah.
Project, all the things where it's like, oh, kids want to play video games, but they might not have all the movements. Here's something that we could celebrate as a community. So we don't have the answers. Adafruit can't solve everybody's problems, but these are ideas. And if you publish people's work and you give them a place to share their work, and they are in a community together, it probably won't turn into like Twitter fighting.
That's also why we have no plans to have a printed magazine, because it's like, well, you always have to decide what goes in and what goes on it. What we do is we publish online so that we get to celebrate everybody.
Yeah, it turns out that the pixels are kind of free. We publish about 30 times a day. We have the show and tell. People can come on the show. So anyways, these are ideas. Like I said, we're going to try to continue to figure out what things can people do to amplify and elevate. But I'd suggest also going on Discord. It's a fun place.
Yeah,
I joined last week. I don't know what took me so long.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
bots, there's moderation. It's not this like hit and run thing that's happened with Twitter, which is like more of a political tool. It's not. It's like outrage fest.
It's mostly journalists now.
Yeah. So these are ideas. So I think if everyone wants to help when things come up, start a blog, publish stuff, share your projects, share other people's projects,
and promote each other, right?
Yeah, and promote each other.
The whole point is that it should be a distributed community.
Yeah.
Like whenever you have, whenever you designate like this is the leader, this is the only source of news or justification or promotion, you're always going to end up with a problem.
Yeah.
Instead, if the community takes care of itself,
Yeah.
you'll have a healthier and better time, because like everybody will be like working together.
Yeah. So that's the idea. Is like I think no matter what, everyone publishing each other's work and getting it in front of a lot of people, I think is the most helpful thing. But I don't have all the answers. I have a lot of questions, no answers. Okay, so that was our time travel Lady Ada. We have some guides and more this week.
That's true.
We're an open source hardware company. Speaking of, what do we got?
Away. Okay, so we have the IoT transports video, all Internet of Things. We'll talk about that a little bit too. So that big video and guide that goes with it. So the guide expands on the video. So if you think the video is nice and long, the guide is even more detailed and has links and products and all sorts of good things. And the Adafruit Seesaw, which is our I2C2 whatever interface board that we've been working on, Dean's been working on. John Park today did the video on his chilled drinky bot. So there's a guide about that. It uses CircuitPython to chill your beverage. It was like 100 degrees in LA like a week or two ago. So that's why he started working on the project. And of course it got really cold, but it was really hot for a while. But this is good for whenever and wherever.
Next season,
Or we'll make a heaty bot next,
Yeah.
maybe. Then Boomy, this is the AirPlay Boombox that uses a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and the guide for the Adafruit BME 680, which is our new product of the week, comes with Arduino and CircuitPython codes. We're starting to do CircuitPython for all of our guides and products. Very exciting.
Okay. We're going to run a little late tonight. I hope it's okay for the folks that help run the show. It'll probably be 9:30 because we have a video to show. A long time ago, the New York film media folks came out and they filmed the Adafruit factory. So we look younger, thinner, happier. But we had them out, and I think this is when we first got to the latest floor of the building. We keep getting more floors. So it's on NYC Life. It's on nyc.gov. It's on these channels if you have TV and stuff. However, we're going to play it. So here it is, 9-minute overview of Adafruit. It's kind of cool. And they interviewed other women entrepreneurs that are making it in the city. And you have like about a 9-minute thing, so we're going to play it.
Go for it.
All right.
Anyone can have a good idea, but the difference between those who have an idea and those who have a successful company is in the execution. These women figured out how they could transform a concept into a thriving company in New York City. And it all started with her big idea. Limor Fried was supposed to be working on her thesis at MIT when she started making her own do-it-yourself electronics kits and selling them. The popular demand for her kits has created her multi-million-dollar empire, Adafruit Industries.
My name is Lamore Freed, and I am the founder and lead engineer of Adafruit Industries. Adafruit Industries is a company I started about 10 years ago, and I manufacture electronics here in Manhattan. They're designed to help people learn about how awesome it is to become an engineer and be creative with electronics. Our stuff is all over the world, used by professionals, students, kids, hobbyists, it's kind of everybody. Now we have almost $50 million in revenue. We ship over 1,000 packages a day. We have over 100 employees, and we're growing year after year, so it's really working out. This is the squeegee stenciler machine. Each one goes in one at a time. You can squeegee it in this stage, and it's tacky. Now that this is done, we check it over really fast. So Michelle, is this good? Good. And we don't usually see anything, but once in a while, the pick and place puts the parts down, but it doesn't see what it's doing. It's very rote. So if it makes a mistake, this is like the last chance before barter town. Like after this, it goes into the oven, it's done. Machine made, but human approved. And now we have the assembled boards. I grew up in Boston. I went to MIT, I really loved electronics engineering, and I learned a lot of math, but I had a lot more fun building stuff. I was supposed to be working on my thesis, and I didn't want to. And instead, I spent my time building these fun projects like little synthesizers or making your own MP3 player. At the time, this was before you could just buy an MP3 player, so people built their own. And I had so much fun with that, I would post the projects online. I had like a blog, and I'd share, here's how you can make your own MP3 player, your own synthesizer, your own light toy. And people really liked it, and they responded very well to all these blog posts that I did and these projects that I posted. And they would email me and say, hey, this is so cool. I want to build this project myself. I want to learn how to build my own MP3 player. Can you sell me a kit of parts? And I was like, I can't do that. I've got to work on this thesis I'm avoiding. But I was like, well, you know, maybe that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll make 100 kits, start out with that, buy a couple parts, and I'd use my credit card to buy those kit parts, put them together on the kitchen table, and sent them out to 100 customers. Then slowly but surely, every 6 months, I'd come out with a new design people liked. I just thought, this is something that has to exist in the world. I first started in a warehouse in Queens with 9 other people. We were in this 1,000 square foot apartment and slowly building the business. And then after a few years, I moved to a 2,000 square foot studio. And then eventually that got totally maxed out, and it was just boxes everywhere. And we couldn't have the business running out of a studio anymore. And that's when we moved to 150 Varick, which is where we are now. The name Adafruit comes from Lady Ada. She was an early engineer, computer scientist, and in some sense, she's the godmother of programming. We wanted to kind of integrate that name with what we're doing because I think that we're also in a new age of learning how to program the things around us. We have everything from kits designed for 6-year-old girls to 90-year-old grandmothers, everything in between, from people who are hardcore engineers to people who are just starting out. A kit contains a couple parts. First up, it has integrated circuits, little chips, sort of stuff that runs your cell phone or your GPS. It has resistors and capacitors. These are the building blocks of electronics. And it also has a custom circuit board, and that's what I designed. And that's the part where you plug all the components into it and you solder them together. And then when you're done, you turn it on and it works. We did our first batch of about 200 circuit playgrounds. We have a learning system where we post projects every single week, and we have 1,090 tutorials, and they're all free. Build robots, build LED tiaras. Some of our most popular projects are fashion projects. You take fashion that you already have and you customize it with LEDs, or skateboard hacking projects where you add underlighting LEDs that react when you move. A lot of people are integrating this technology into the hobbies and interests they already have. Press that flat so you get the most surface area. And then you actually don't even have to put the solder on the soldering iron. You just kind of get it around. At the time we were growing, we were getting daily phone calls from investment bankers. We want to invest, we want to invest. And I was like, well, is this the right decision? Is this something that's actually going to make the company have a better experience for customers? Is it good for everybody, or is it just a way to get a bunch of cash? And I decided not to. So we never took any VCs or loans because we decided that so far it hasn't benefited the company, even though maybe it would have allowed us to grow faster, it wouldn't have allowed us to grow better. The work culture here that we have at Adafruit is, well, kind of what I look like. People can dress however they want. They have all sorts of interests. What I try to do is say, hey, I'm an engineer. This is what I look like. And if I'm an engineer, you can also be an engineer. There's nothing about my hair color that impacts what I like to do and the quality of my engineering.
The issue was the ships. They were a bit out of place, but what I did was I used the heat gun, and I heated it just enough so I can just heat up the solder and shift it right back into place.
But you have to fix all the ones
that actually were broken, so I'm like, well,
all right.
At least now in the future, you know.
Yeah, no, that's well. Look, there's always going to be more in the future than there were in the past.
Exactly.
All right, well, you got the hot air gun and you're rocking out.
Yep.
The advice I would give someone who wants to start a business is start small, sell 10, sell 20, get a feel for it. And it's okay if you don't have a blockbuster $1 million crowdfunding campaign. And it's always okay to change your mind. Or as my friend in college said, it's never too late to quit something that sucks. When Adafruit came in and said, hey, we're gonna change the way electronics and DIY tutorials and projects are done, I think we sort of changed how the market views it, and it's kind of for the better. Now, any company that comes into this market, they have to meet our quality level or beat it. And so it's better for the customers as well. A lot of the decisions that we've made, people would say are really bad. We meet business leaders all the time who say things like, why are you manufacturing in Manhattan? That's like, this is ridiculous. You should outsource everything. Why are you paying the rent here? And when I respond to them like, well, we get the great people of New York. They're so creative, they're so much fun, they're so driven, right? Because you can't live in this city without being a little tough, right? There's no room here for like wishy-washiness. I think my biggest realization is that engineering and running a business are really two different skills. I'm learning a lot every day, both engineering, which is fun because I'm like, ooh, I'm designing with a new chip or a new circuit, or running a business. How can I get the best 401k plan for my team? And I kind of try to solve them in similar ways, but they are totally different skill sets. When you do what you love, it's not really work. And I actually really enjoy this. Like I get up and I'm like, I can't wait to solve that problem I had yesterday. I'm just doing my thing and the business speaks for itself.
Each of these New Yorkers began with a passion, had an idea, and launched their own thriving companies. Find out how other women recognize their entrepreneurial spirit next time on Her Big Idea.
Okay, so that's still available. You can, if you go to our site, there's a direct link to it. It's the 7 minutes, and make sure you watch the rest of the profiles too. It's on every Monday nights at 8:30. Okay, Lady Ada, we're gonna push it to 9:30, so we're gonna do some more videos. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, more manufacturing. We got some videos. And we have a couple other ones. There's so many sounds.
This is laser cut. Oh, these are the brackets for the
Oh yeah. So
stencils.
back in the day when either you or I or other team members would stencil, we had that tiny hand stenciler because that was the only thing that would fit in our apartment. And we don't have that anymore because we have a robot friend that helps. So we're turning it into art. So we're making them into giant pieces of art because I think we would be remiss. Is that the right word? Remiss if we threw it out and then like 10 years later be like, oh my gosh, we threw out pieces of Adafruit. So we're gonna make art. Here's a nice sunset photo. There was daylight.
It was beautiful.
Daylight savings time, so it gets darker now. So this is what the pick and places see every night before they go to sleep. Okay, next up, Nimbulus. The cloud entity is here. Don't forget we have Adafruit IO. You asked for it. We have it. The plus version is $10. You can do a bunch more with it. We are also playing our All the Internet of Things series presented by DigiKey and Adafruit. First one, power, distance, bits.
Transports.
And we released it. Folks are digging it.
There's a guide that goes with it. Very detailed.
Yeah, it's intense. If you want to know all about MQTT and more and everything about IoT transports, but you're afraid to ask.
I cover everything.
You cover everything. So this is the super fast, sped up version. Later breaks it down. But don't forget, the cloud is just someone else's computer. We heard a song today where that was the lyrics. Okay. Printing, Noah and Pedro are printing up the store, and we have a couple things that they showed this week. Here's the first one.
In this project, we're using a Raspberry Pi Zero W to make an AirPlay-ready audio player. With SharePort Sync, you can stream audio from an iOS device to the Raspberry Pi. Here's how we made our little 3D printed boombox into a Raspberry Pi AirTunes speaker. All the 3D printed parts and electronics can be found in our tutorial linked below. The Adafruit speaker bonnet gives the Raspberry Pi a stereo audio amplifier. Burn Jessie Light to an SD card and install the software and libraries. Wire up the electronics to connect them together and test out the circuit. Assemble the 3D printed parts and secure the breakouts with machine screws. These buttons can be 3D printed in NinjaFlex filament. The stereo speakers and electronics all snap fit into the case. A LiPo battery makes this project portable and lasts for several hours. Artwork can be added to the back of the faceplate and attaches to the case. An acrylic window is installed to the back of the cover so you can see all of the electronics. The snap fit cover makes it easy to open and close. The back looks as good as the front and the parts illuminate with the status LEDs. This can be personalized with stickers and the window can be laser engraved or CNC milled. Use the buttons to adjust volume or safely power down the Pi. It's portable so you can walk around with it as long as the Wi-Fi is in range. We think this is a great little AirPlay speaker project using the Raspberry Pi, 3D printing, and electronics. So if you want to build your own, be sure to check out the guide on the Adafruit Learning System.
And we have one sped up video. I think this is the Forbidden Castle.
Ooh.
And join Noah Projo every Wednesday at 3D Hangouts. You can see all this stuff made live. Microbit, we have some Microbit news, and we also have some Raspberry Pi news, so we're going to go through these. These are two really short videos. Microbit and ARM do stuff together.
Yes.
And ARM just did a commercial about a kid who teaches other kids using a Microbit. So
Yeah.
I just grabbed the video from online. I want to play it.
Neat.
Yeah.
My name's Femi. I'm 11 years old. I'm from Catford, which is in South London. The ARM technology I use to code is similar to that you use in your smartphones, in cars, in robots, and that's sort of the future of technology. Microbit is a small computer which you can use to code. I've learned to control robots with it. There's a lot to do with it. The most exciting thing for me to do coding is sharing my knowledge with others. Let's put it there. I've also around 17 workshops to 220 young people in Bangladesh. Without this technology, I'd never be able to code or build robots and make them move. I'm part of the younger generation that's learning to code. My name is Femi Olade Coombs, and my journey is made possible by art.
Okay, in Raspberry Pi news, Raspberry Pi folks released a new magazine called Hackspace Magazine. If you sign up, 6,000 people signed up in 3 hours. If you sign up, you get a
First
copy
issue.
digitally, but if you want a print copy, you just pay for the shipping.
Yeah.
So that's
I subscribed.
That's happening.
And
So-
Becky's on the cover.
Becky's on the cover. So you have Make, Popular Science, Popular Electronics is doing a really big relaunch. We'll talk about that soon. There's Diode Magazine. There's Magpie. There's 2600. It's never been a better time to be someone who makes hacks and shares. And they even made a little commercial, so I'm gonna just play that too.
Yes.
Everyone's making videos. Makes my job easier.
Yeah.
God, like screenshots. No, we can just play a video.
This is hacking. And this is Hackspace, a monthly magazine for people who love to make things and those who want to learn, available in print and digital format from the 23rd of November. Would you like your first copy free of charge? Register on our website by the 17th of November and we'll send you a copy of Issue 1 direct to your door. Managers of hack and makerspaces can receive a box of magazines for their members to enjoy by filling in the details of their space. Visit hsmag.cc to discover more.
Okay. We're done.
It's that time.
We're going to do it. The moment everyone's been waiting for.
it's-
It's the code.
Good.
Steps team. 10% off the native store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Lady Ada, it is time. Take it away.
Yay! New. Okay, I'm out.
Oh yeah, you gotta switch seats.
New.
Do the new shuffle. Do, 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 do. Yeah, want to go around this way? Yeah, go around that way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
we're now in the new product position.
Yes.
Okay.
I am ready.
All right, lady.
Prepared to
What
qualify.
do you got this week?
Okay, we've got these new Discord Adafruit badges and the Adabot Discord badge. You cannot buy these.
No.
They're not for sale.
No.
You can only get them by joining the Adafruit Discord community at adafruit.it/discord.
Yeah.
Sign up, join the community, and be an awesome community member. And our
We're just gonna start
moderators
sending them out.
are going to give them away to people. who
Help
are
each other.
awesome.
Be cool. That's one of our solutions for community building. We'll give you a badge. Just be cool.
Be cool. If you're cool, we'll give you free badges so you can get the Adafruit one or the Adabot one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
Okay. Next up, we've got this really nice electric energy test. This is a power monitor, little panel, not a power monitor, but it's really nice. It's a little more expensive than most panel monitors, but it's like really intense. It can do up to like 100 volts. It can do like 20 amps, and it's got built-in timer, temperature, and cumulative measurements. So it not only measures voltage and current, but it will also give you milliamp hours and watt hours. So this is the display. I can also show it on the overhead.
Yeah, go for it.
So we got it hooked up to like a Gemma here, and you just put it in between. It comes with alligator clips and everything. And you can see it'll give you the voltage and the current, and it'll keep time. So I've had this on for 16 minutes, and it'll keep time, and then tell you how many amp hours, watts, watt hours. So it's pretty sweet. It's got quite a bit of capability built in to it, and if you want an all-in-one power monitor measure that you don't need to get a calculator out or anything, this will do it for you. This one also gives you the temperature, 23 degrees C. It'll give you the timing here, and yeah, has a couple different modes. But I like this. This is just all-in-one screen, and I like how complete it is. It's a little LCD. It has characters built in. There's also like a couple extra modes. You can do like timer, like overcurrent or undercurrent, overvoltage or undervoltage, by using the key and like pressing it in different ways. But I kind of was like, it's a little too complicated for me to use. I just like it in this mode. But very, very nice power monitor.
Okay.
for your project.
Next up.
We have a little mini boost. So this is, we're using this chip in a couple projects. I thought a breakout would be very handy. It's a little boost converter chip, but it's actually a switched cap converter. This little chip will take 3 to 5 volts in and give you 5 volts out. It uses switched cap, so it's very inexpensive and very small. It doesn't have any inductors or diodes. It just uses a capacitor and basically switches and swaps the current on the capacitor to double the voltage input and then regulates it down to 5 volts. It's small, it's low cost, but if you just need like up to 100 milliamps at 5 volts, this will do the job for you quite well, and it's very compact.
Next up.
And we have the start of the show, which is the BME 680. I've been working on this breakout for like 2 years. I had samples a very, very long time ago, and we had this breakout, and finally we had chips came in, and so we're able to make the breakout and get it in the store. So I have a little
You have a
demo. Let me see. I think this will run off of batteries. This is why I like the Feather platform, because I can just unplug it.
Feather was designed for live videos when your USB cable is too short, but
Pretty
you still
much.
want to do the live demo.
So the BME 680.
TM.
The BME 680 is kind of nice if people have used the BMP 280, which is a temperature and pressure sensor, or the BME 280, which is environmental, has humidity, pressure, and temperature. So you can do altitude or barometric pressure or humidity and temperature, so all that good stuff. But the BME 680 adds a MOX sensor, a metal oxide sensor, and these are sensors that are it's a metal oxide, and you basically put, you heat it up and you measure the current through it, and as there's more volatile organic gases in the environment, the resistance goes down, which makes these really good for measuring like alcohols or carbon monoxide. They can measure ethanol, and a couple other different gases, basically any of the gases that react with the metal oxide layer. The thing about the metal oxide sensors is, they take a while to heat up, so you have to have it sort of sit for half an hour, and you get a resistance. So, the gas sensor here is 275 kiloohms, and then, if I breathe on it even, it should go down now. So now it's 218 kiloohms. So part of that is humidity, and part of that is, I just drank some fluid and ate some food, and so I have some probably gases in my mouth, and also carbon dioxide's coming out of me because I am not a robot. I'm a living human being.
You're real.
You can't prove that I'm a robot. Yeah. And so, you have to do a little bit of calibration and math with these gas sensors, but it does work quite well, and what's nice is it's an all-in-one sensor. So this is kind of like the most integrated environmental sensor we have. It's pretty sweet. There is a library that Bosch has that can give you air quality out, but it's like a very close source and compiled binary only. So we're kind of looking at some solutions for that. For now, we just suggest looking at the resistance and the humidity and just plotting those and take the baseline reading of the gas sensor and then using that to determine whether you're getting more or less contamination in the air.
Okay. They did that was a new product.
Yeah.
Ready for a new product recap?
Yes.
Okay, new products this week, Lady Ada.
Quick. We've got 2 Discord badges. They're not for sale. You can only get them by joining the Discord channel at adafruit.it/discord and becoming an awesome community member, and we will gift you one of these badges. We've got this electric energy tester meter. It's a really handy panel mount power meter. It gives you current, voltage, as well as watt hours, milliamp hours, temperature, a whole bunch of other measurements. It's kind of an all-in-one power monitor, and you don't need a calculator. Just does everything for you. We have the AP3602A. It's a switch cap converter. Give it 3 to 5 volts in, and it'll give you 5 volts at 100 milliamps out. It's a very low-cost boost converter, so if you have a 3-volt or a LiPo battery, you need 5 volts. This will do the job for you. And we have the star of the show, the BME 680. This all-in-one sensor from Bosch has temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, and gas sensor. It can do volatile gas sensing, air quality measurements, so it's really good for an all-in-one environmental sensor. It has 4 sensors in one.
And that's it.
New.
Good work, Lady Ada.
Oh,
Okay.
I forgot to mention the BME 680 comes with, it's part of our new sensor trend. It comes with both Arduino and CircuitPython code, so we are...
Well,
That's
good.
fine.
Okay. Well, since we're running a little bit late this week, we're going to not do the questions. Put your questions in the chat, though. We'll try to get to some of those, and people can help each other. Let's give away something, Lady Ada. What do you want to give away?
We're going to give away a BME 680.
Really?
Well, that's a sweet sensor.
Okay. What are the rules?
Rules are the first person to call this wonderful payphone and answer the 3 questions, which are, what's your name, where are you calling from, and what's a project that you're building or you'd like to build. And if you're able to answer those 3 questions, when I pick up the phone, you're the winner. And I'm going to give you a free BME 680 temperature, barometric pressure, humidity, gas sensor. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Amazing.
All that packed into that
It's
tiny
so
package.
small.
The phone lines are open.
Call now. Call this number. Answer when I say hello.
Yeah. I guess we should tell folks to turn down their
Yeah, turn down your thing.
computer sometimes. But
Okay, ready?
I think it'll work.
We're waiting for 2 rings.
Yeah, we have a rule.
It's a rule. Okay, good.
Yep. Okay.
Hello there. You have reached Ask Engineer.
No.
See, they hang up.
We're scared.
I don't know why.
We're scared. They're like, I'm not using telephone.
Yeah, the telephone screen. Okay, but it means that there's another position open.
You still have a chance.
You still have a chance.
1.
2 rings. Ring. Hello.
No, they hung up. Tough crowd.
Ooh. Oh, weird. I swear I'm not doing anything with the phone. I'm using a phone
I wonder
normally.
if they're looking for a different engineer.
Hello, you've reached Ask an Engineer. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you're the winner. Congratulations.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi. Can you turn down your computer so you don't get weird like echoey effects? That'd be sweet.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. You back? Hello. Hi.
My name is Noah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Noah and New York.
Wow. You're nearby. He's outside. Well, hello, Noah from New York. What's a project you're working on or you want to work on?
I'm building a 3D printer.
Whoa. That's awesome. That'll be so cool. And then you can use that to build more things.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Noah, you're a fine winner of this amazing BME 680 sensor. Wow, amazing. All you have to do is email support@adafruit.com. That's support@adafruit.com and say, I won a 3660. That's the product number. And they're going to ship you out this sensor, which will be very handy for measuring the environment around your 3D printer.
Ooh, thank you.
Okay, well, congratulations, Noah. Don't forget to email, and thank you for calling.
Okay.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
I think that was a friend of mine.
Well,
I think it was too. I think someone said hi.
Noah
Yeah,
was,
I think.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
See, this is how it works.
Well, you know,
You get
good.
Yeah.
You spend like I have
Well,
to turn.
you have to turn off the thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
See, this is how you game the system. What you do
Yeah.
is you
You make friends with Aidan?
well you make 3D printed projects and more, and you spend like a year or 2 on it, and
Yeah.
you put them up on Thingiverse, and you go on show and tell, and then you eventually get on Ask an Engineer, and then you have your friend call in.
Yeah.
And then you win a breakout board.
Yes.
You can. This is totally. This is like a caper.
Yeah, so you can't win because you're here.
True.
Yeah.
That is
I mean, that'd be
true.
really awkward if you pulled out your phone.
But he could have worked it out.
Called it, yeah.
Called it.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the show now. We got to get out of here. We're running
Thanks,
long.
everybody.
Gotta get out of
Thank
here.
you so much for showing all your projects.
Thank you guys for having me. This
Yeah.
has been great.
And
Bam.
the best story I heard is when you heard that a teacher took your files and used them and showed students, and they made your project. That's so cool.
Yeah, I've had a few instances of that. Another one was very early in my days of uploading the Thingiverse, where I had made a model of a virus, and then like kind of like you could put it together with a cell and show it
that's a good
infects
idea.
a cell. And a teacher from a school for the blind contacted me
that makes sense,
and
yeah.
said that like I've waited for months for a $2,000 model of this same thing, and I've never gotten it, and I printed yours in one afternoon, and my students have loved it. And that was one of the most rewarding moments of my making.
I think sometimes like like a lot of this stuff takes time and patience, and the prints don't work out, or like you gotta learn a new software package, and it's like, oh, I should get another hobby or another profession or another thing. But then you hear that, and then you're like, okay, like keep on printing. Okay,
All right, what a
that's our show
massive
this
show.
week. Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us.
Yeah, don't forget the code is STEM
10%
off on Adafruit store all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Thank you all our Adafruit community members, the team members that stuck around a little bit later to help with the show, all the remote team members, everyone in Discord. Thank you so much. Let's all be excellent to one another. and publish your projects and send us links to your projects. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Here is a picture of MOSFET, the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here is your moment of Zener. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.